So there's absolutely no doubt that in the summer, Rangers will need to go and overhaul this squad massively, with a number of players out of contract, like Barisic, like Lundstrom, like Roof, like McLaughlin, for example, and a number of other players, seemingly coming to the end of their usefulness for the club. There may be a number of departures, and obviously those departures need to be replaced. Now, one of the things that needs to happen with this squad is the average age needs to be brought down. I think it's around about 28 at this moment in time. Obviously, the defence does substantially age this squad with Tav over 30, Goulton over 30, Balogun over 30, Barisic over 30, just to name but a few. Byron Jack obviously out of contract, Balogun out of contract. There's a lot of players going out of contract at the end of the season. And with Philippe Clement and Niels Koppen and the Rangers board committed to a player trading model where we bring in young players, we develop them, we flip them for a lot of money in the future to increase the amount of transfer revenue coming in to the club to enable us to continue to move forward and develop this squad. Now, I don't think, personally speaking, looking at what I've read, what I've seen, there's going to be a substantial amount of cash available for Philippe Clement this summer to spend. So we're going to need to look for Bosmans, we're going to need to look for frees, we're going to need to look for out-of-contract players, compensation players, etc., etc. Now, I know, obviously, if we win the league, that obviously could change with the amount of money the Champions League will necessarily bring in, around about 25 to 30 million pounds. But all of that, obviously, is very much dependent on what happens over the next 5 games. Now, according to the media this morning, a number of sources, not just one, there's a number of reliable sources reporting that Rangers are interested in Aberdeen midfielder Connor Barron. Now, reportedly, Rangers had a £500,000 bid rejected by Aberdeen in January for Barron. That was the rumour that was put about. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I can't really comment on that. It's just a report. It is obviously a cheeky little bid because Rangers knew that at the end of this season, Barron would be out of contract. Barron is somebody who very much fits the player trading model. He's young, he's up and coming, he's very talented. Played for the under-21s, Scottish under-21s already. He is a very, very, very good player and someone with who's going to have an excellent future in the game. He's only 21 years old. He plays in the centre. He plays in the central midfield role. He can play centre midfield, defensive midfield. So it very much fit into that double pivot role. Now, add to that as well the fact that Barron is out of contract at the end of this season. So you would only have to pay a compensation fee for Barron as he was developed through the youth system at Aberdeen, therefore a compensation fee, which is always, much substantially lower than the player's actual value would be in a transfer. Barron is certainly a player who would, I think, bring an energy, bring a knowledge of the game up here to Rangers. He's certainly someone I think could add to this squad. Now, given the fact that Philippe Clement has always spoken about the fact that he wants to rotate his squad because of the fact that Rangers can play up to upwards 50, 60 games a season, it's impossible to play the same 11 week in, week out. Barron would certainly fit into that rotation, and he could be used and developed alongside the likes of, for example, Mohamed Diamande, Nicholas Raskin, Dujon Sterling, for example. Now, what is encouraging, I think, is that if you go and you watch the semi-final on Saturday between Aberdeen and Celtic, Connor Barron more than held his own and at times outclassed the Celtic midfield. Now, if you look at the situation that in a number of Old Firm games this season, their midfield has overrun our midfield. You're looking at a player who on a number of occasions this season for Aberdeen has outclassed his opponent for Celtic. So this is something we should be looking at. Players who know how to do it against them, players who know how to beat them, players who need to get the better of them. And Barron certainly brings that youthful exuberance and would be a very good signing. We look at some of the stats for Barron this season. Barron has played in Europe for Aberdeen. He played in the Conference League, 6 appearances in the Conference League, played in 67% of their starting 11s and played 73% of their minutes. In the SPL, he has played 24 times for Aberdeen, scoring a single goal and getting 2 assists. Often, coming off the bench, but certainly developing and getting into the starting lineup more in recent times, having played in 58% of their starting 11s, 54% of their minutes. Again, this is a young, developing player. Those numbers will substantially improve when he is surrounded by better players, in a better environment, in a club that dominates the ball a lot more. He's certainly going to come on and develop, and also working with coaches like Stefan van der Heyden, Alex Ray, Philippe Clement would benefit Connor Barron. I think Barron would be an absolutely excellent signing for Rangers. Certainly someone out there, like I said, who has a knowledge of our game, a knowledge of how to beat them, a knowledge of how to cope in the SPL, which often is an issue when you bring in midfielders from foreign countries. Add to that as well that he will not cost a lot of money. He will be a compensation fee. All the money, any money that can be paid, will be paid to the contract. But even then, his contract is not going to be massive, as he is not a player who, you know, has done substantial things in the game to prove that he needs that big, massive contract. So I do think that Connor Barron is an excellent option for Rangers. Certainly someone I would love to see them move for. And like I said, he's not going to cost an arm and a leg because he is out of contract. This is the sort of player we need to be going for. These young players, up-and-coming players, talented players that are going to add to this squad. I know there's a need for experience, but we already have experienced players in the squad who will still be there next season. The likes of, for example, Todd Cantwell, the likes of Nicholas Raskin, the likes of Cyril Dessers, who will still be there next season, the likes of, hopefully, Abdallah Sima, the likes, obviously, of James Tavernier, Jack Butland. These players, hopefully, will all still be here next season, so we'll obviously be in a situation where they are the experienced core to this side. You do need to surround them with young players, and Connor Barron would be perfect for that. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Very encouraged by this report. Hopefully, it's the type of player we are looking at. I do think he would be an excellent acquisition for the club. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. Please obviously smash the sub on the way out. Two things I always ask of you guys. Number one, smash the like, because let's face it, likes help these videos grow on YouTube. They beat the algorithm. And always remember, never forget, we are the people.